Let's do time.
Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the QR Code Show. I'm your host, Rena, and today we have an awesome group of women here. And our topic for today is mental health. But before we get started, I will pass the hot mic around and let everyone introduce themselves. You can give your name, your state, and your favorite sports team.
I'll go first. And I'm going to start with my favorite sports team, which we have a love hate relationship, but it would be the Falcons. I'm just one of those faithful supporters. I see that face back there. Don't make no faces. My name is Taja Sherman, and I am from Georgia.
Hi, I'm Bree. I don't have a favorite sports team. I don't on for a reason because I don't have any loyalty to anyone. I don't want to be upset, so I just
Yeah.
watch them and I'd be happy. Like last week when Jacksonville and Kansas City, the Chiefs was playing, I was like, "Ooh, this is great!" But I was like very happy for Jacksonville. Was it Jacksonville that won? Yeah, because they hadn't beat the Chiefs since 2009. I was like, "What?" So I was excited. So yeah, I don't really have a favorite team. And I am from Chattanooga, but I live in Georgia. I live in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, well, welcome in. I'm so happy to have you guys, well, you ladies here tonight. And so I do have a question. Um, if there is a football game that's on and there's a penalty in the secondary, which line is the penalty on?
Hmm?
The 20, I don't know. Is that a trick question?
Whatever they had the penalty on.
Wherever the flag is at, wherever the flag is at, that's where the penalty is at. Is there you go. You can tell why I watch football.
I'm gonna give y'all one more chance. So my question is, if there is a football game that is on and there is a penalty in the secondary, which line is that penalty on? Is it the O line or the D line?
I'm just gonna say the O line, offensive line. Mm-mm.
D. I say D.
Okay, the D line is correct.
I just
And
said something.
I'm a Saints fan. For everybody who didn't know, I'm a big Saints fan. And
Mm.
Taja here, she's a Falcons fan. So gotta keep my eyes on her.
I mean, I'm from Georgia.
Right?
I'm a
The
nice.
Aints, whatever they call them.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying what they say. I don't be any of that.
Well,
You know, we may be the Aints now.
I heard y'all wasn't doing too well. I just heard.
No, we're
It's
not doing too well at all.
That's okay. It's all right.
I
You
know.
hey, it's just a game.
It's just a game.
It's just a game. That's okay.
Yeah. Listen, one day.
One day.
To the
What
proud Saints.
But y'all won a lot of championships, haven't you?
is she throwing shade?
Um
More than what the Falcons have done. I don't know what's going
Hey,
on with us.
just come out and say it. But you know what? We play with heart. We just play with heart.
Let me tell you, I think the reason why I don't like any football teams is because I was so excited. We went to a Super Bowl championship game I don't know how many years ago it was, and I sat there and we were winning, and I sat there and watched them lose, and that was it.
Was that
I
about
don't the Falcons. I don't ever want to be in that position again where I'm all excited and I was like, oh, we
oh,
got
you
a
got
Super
your heart
Bowl.
broke. It's
my heart?
okay.
Yeah. And so
Sense.
I'm like, I don't want to do that again. I'm just going to be like a neutral person. for
But
any
you gotta be
team.
loyal. I think because I'm like a Scorpio, I have to be loyal to someone, even though they're losing.
I'm
Like
gonna find somebody to be loyal to. I'm gonna find somebody. I like Josh Allen right now. I'm liking him.
like Julian Hurts. Now I'm about to go over there with
Liking
him.
Josh.
Oh, Jalen Hurts.
Like,
Yeah,
what
I
team
like
you?
Jalen
Is
Hurts.
it Jalen? What team you like? Jalen Hurts. That team.
Yeah, with the Philadelphia Eagles.
That team. Yes,
Yeah,
let's fly away. Like, yes, we still in the
yeah,
bird family. Like,
yeah,
don't play.
yeah. Right, Big Brother, right?
Yes.
Big Brother Bird. Yeah, I like
Let's
Jalen
see.
Hurts out there in Philadelphia. Um, there is one that has been out there balling though recently. This would be who is this? Hold on, I'm about to tell y'all right now. He was overlooked. He was dumped by his team, even though he won 14 games. That would be Sam Darnold. He won 14 games
Mm.
with the Seahawks, and they dropped him in the
They've
postseason. And
been dropping.
yeah, they dropped him. They did. And no, actually, sorry, the Seahawks is who has him now. The Minnesota Vikings is the ones who dropped him after he went 14-3 last
Mm.
year. So
Is
I
he a
don't know.
quarterback?
He's a quarterback. He's a
Okay.
quarterback. And they said that, he like a blessing in disguise because at first everybody was like, oh no, we don't want him or whatever. But now he out there doing his thing. I mean, it popped up on my NBC News today. So I was like, okay, us football girlies, right?
Yeah, that's okay. All right.
So just like football, sometimes we got to be on that defensive line too when it comes to our mental health.
Mhm.
Usually, sometimes when an individual is unable or unwilling to take accountability for their discomfort, they
Mm.
often find it easier to deflect by labeling the other person. And the most common form of this deflection is to dismiss the other person's character or experience. For example, by calling them crazy when there's no genuine harm or wrongdoing to point to. So, in the Black community, being strong is often seen as some kind of like badge of honor, like you get this
Mhm.
stripe because you're so strong. It's like having a teardrop if you're a gangster or you're a murderer. You get a stripe for just being a strong Black woman all the time. How would you define true strength after your life's experiences? And why is seeking help an act of strength and not a weakness?
I think for me, true strength comes from owning, your truth, standing in it and accepting it, the good or the bad, and growing from it. I believe that in every lesson, there's a blessing. But when you suppress and when you project, it sounds like, that's the tone of some people, especially unhealed people. It becomes an issue of more an internal dis-ease. That's why they say forgiveness is not for it's not for them, it's for you. So understanding that mindset, having the education around what it means to actually forgive and doing the work. A lot of this is like it's easy to say, but it takes work. It takes coming to awareness of what happened, why it happened, when it happened, how you was affected by that. And once you see that, then you begin to dismantle, the lies or the shame. Mental health is like there's shame that people, I think, they have that comes upon them when they suppress their truth, and they're moving in a space where they just can't actually forgive.
Yeah, I think that's true too. Moving to a space where you can't forgive is kind of often, you know, frowned upon. But how do you how do you get to that point of like, the forgiveness? And Brittany, back to you. Would you like to answer that question? Um,
So my whole answer will be kind of loaded because I'm still kind of in like my grief because yeah, you're correct. You have to be strong, like in terms of like us as Black people. It seems like we move on very quickly. So just to be transparent, I mean, no, she doesn't know. So my daughter, she was killed on the 22nd of June, and I people tell me every day they're trying to figure out how am I walking around, how am I verbal, how am I not like passed out because I haven't been given the opportunity to do that. Like for instance, I cry and I be upset. I have to cry by myself because I don't feel like I have anybody that's understanding it. And
Yeah.
I have prayer groups, I have people that I talk to, but I have a therapist and she talks to me and she's like, what are you looking for that you didn't get it before, so why are you looking for it now? And I'm like, because I want that, because I miss the family that I was creating. I was creating this different family that I felt like I was gonna show everybody, oh, this is how you're supposed to act.
Uh-huh.
And so, because like you said, we feel like, oh, we have to be strong. And so I was strong. A lot of times, things that happened in my house, I didn't say anything. My daughter was very active. She liked to move. She liked to move out the house when I didn't know she wasn't there. Just a lot of stuff that she did. And I didn't say everything that she did, but she did a lot. But it
Right.
wasn't bad things, but it was just being a teen, and that I didn't know, like you said, the mental health piece, I didn't know how to figure it out by myself. And so when you ask people to help you, they don't know either. And these are
Right.
professionals. These are professionals that say, oh no, she's just being a kid. I said, no, there's something else. So
Yeah.
like what I'm trying to say is that you don't have to be strong. You have to be vulnerable. You have to be able to accept the help. And so like I did, I accept the help, but I know that with me having a therapist, the therapist is only for me to try to get through my life now. But it's not going to be getting past my daughter dying. It's just me trying to create a space for myself now moving forward. That's all I feel like the therapist does. I mean, she doesn't help me to be like, oh, she's gone. She doesn't do any of that. I
Right.
still, after the therapy, I cry.
Your
It's like,
daughter, she passed away this year in June.
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
June the 22nd,
I'm
a
so
few months
sorry for
ago.
your loss.
Yeah.
I knew of your loss, Brittany, but
She-
Wow.
since we're here now and you said it, announced it here, I just want to just make sure that you know that I'm here for you if you ever need me. And, this is a part of why I wanted to have you on this show because I felt like, mental health, even I when got mental health, and it's shunned upon. And we're going to get to that. But I just want to say
Mhm.
I'm so sorry for your loss. I don't know what it's like. And it's okay
Yeah.
to be vulnerable. Um, I do have like some medical experience just from, working and then also my kids having medical ailments that I have to deal with. And sometimes when you do try to go out and seek medical attention and care is like, the people are like, well, like you said, oh, well, this one is a teenager or this one is this age. And are you sure? Like they go to questioning you. And so you
Mhm.
have to be an advocate for your kid. And so I'm glad that you're here because your story could actually help other people to navigate that process and advocating for themselves. Because we don't want to see this, again, repeat where someone is actually trying to go out and get help and they're not being heard. It continuously happens. It happened to
Mhm.
me, and it's happened to me not one or two times. It's just been a multitude of times. And so my heart goes out to you, and I'm sorry for your loss.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, um, I guess, when you hear people say they're in a better place and all this other stuff, and it's just like it's like mundane to me. And it's like, oxymoron, if that's if that's the right word. Like,
Yeah.
is that correct? But that's just what we say to, I guess, not be uncomfortable. But I mean, I feel like the best place is with me. I mean, even my pastors came over here and told me that, oh, she's in a better place. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is a
Yeah.
16-year-old girl. Are you serious, sir? I'm like, for real? Her birthday was about to be here. Like, she would have been 17. And I'm like, you serious? And so, I just be like, okay. And I said, I understand. I just like read the
Yeah.
Bible. If that's what y'all mean. But
Sometimes
yeah.
people don't know what to say. so they say anything, and they shouldn't. When you don't know what to say, it's better just to be quiet. Because I get that a lot. People don't know what to tell me sometimes. And it's okay, everything is accepted, but then at some point you just gotta, like, I guess, think about what you say before you say it, because some of it don't make sense, right? Like what you just
Mm-hmm.
said. How could you fix your lips to tell somebody that their child, not your child, their child is in a better place? Because I'm quite sure that the better place would have been with you, right? And so hearing that is not real. It's something that, in pastor, he don't, or she, they don't mean any harm,
They don't.
but yeah, it's just something that they try to empathize, they don't know how, and sometimes people just say anything, but it takes away the real experience,
Yeah,
because we're
because
human at the end of the day, and we're all trying to navigate this life, and not one life is better than the next life. And so I salute you for being able to talk about it, because
that's
I
the thing.
know
People
for
keep saying that.
me,
Like, I don't know how. I'm just
yeah,
telling
you're
you,
just
I don't
on
know how I'm
go.
standing here.
You just on go. Um, it took me a long time to be able to share one story about my oldest son with CF, and how long it took us to be diagnosed. It took me a long time, because I feel like I cried for at least 14 years before I was able to speak about it. And I wasn't able to speak about it or articulate how I felt until I had my second child with CF, which was many 20 years later. And then I was like, okay, now I don't have time to cry. I just have to be on go so I can help other
Mm-hmm.
people and get the message out there. And listen, it's not easy. Some days you have good days, and some days you have bad days, and it's okay. It's okay. But I want to double back to something, because you said that your mentor or your counselor, your therapist, what did they tell you again? Because that kind of made my head spin. You was like, they told you, it was something you said they
So
told
I'm
you.
trying to say it. So basically, it's kind of going back to some of the stuff you've been saying a few weeks. I've been kind of looking at your stuff online. So certain families, they have a way that they love or communicate, or I don't even know if you call it love. They don't hug, they don't talk about anything, they kind of close mouth about stuff. They
Oh
don't really
yeah,
do a lot of the emotional things, which is what I was trying to, get from my daughter. And that's what she was saying.
yeah. They don't.
That
Some
what I'm trying
families
to look
are
at now.
silent, and
They suffer in silence.
yeah.
And it's
It,
not, and I think if I can just interject just a bit,
go ahead,
and
Tasha.
I want to say that my condolences to you. I am just as heartbroken as I am amazed at how you have the strength just to speak about this. And I'm counting on my fingers underneath here, like that's not even 6 months ago. And that
Wow.
says a lot to your strength, to your ability to persevere and to advocate within this space. And I, my thoughts are that God, I'm a believer in faith, and in the way I see it is that He gives His toughest battle to His strongest soldiers, and I see that in what you said just tonight. But I also see that in the midst of that, there comes an opportunity, a space when it was spoken, Rena, you said, how you didn't have the voice to speak, you just cried, but then you finally decided to do something. You're doing something now, Bree, to where you're talking about it. And I do feel like there's a disparity in terms of when you look at therapists or counselors, they are there to give us the tools and the resources to help navigate the trauma that we've experienced. And a lot of times they haven't experienced it. So it's like they don't know what to say. Even pastors, I think the comment, oh, she's in a better place, that's an older mindset to like, oh, okay, she doesn't have to suffer here in this world. She's
Mm-hmm.
gonna go. Well, we're all gonna go one day, but again, to the point that Rena made, when you don't know what to say, maybe you shouldn't just say anything. And that's wisdom. and everybody
Mhm.
don't have it. So when they don't have that wisdom, I think it's important for us that have been through mental health issues or trauma or something that affects us in that space to give them grace, because we
Mhm.
don't know what we don't know, and we haven't been. I've never lost a child. I've lost people, but not a child, and I don't think at this present moment that I could be on anybody's call talking about it. I do
Yeah.
not. I just. But in the event that you are, I'm strengthened to see an example of someone that can say, "Hey, I dealt with this. I'm dealing with this," and that's healing. That's what healing looks like to me. That's what growth and crying. I read this book, The Garden Within, by Dr. Phillips,
Mhm.
and it speaks about the beauty in crying and just how it heals us and heals our body. And I think that that's important to do, to release, and you may say that no one understands you in terms of what you're going through, but you may be that person that understands somebody else. And
Mm.
that's the torch, and that's the mantle that you've been given, and it's very heavy to carry, but you're doing it well, sis.
Yes.
Doing it well. You look good and you sound good
And you sound
behind
good.
all that you're going through. I would have never known. And I just
I
salute you.
asked him every day why,
Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
say why not me. I'd be
Yeah.
like, God,
Yeah.
like I can't believe it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Your choice.
I get up every day and be like I like today. I just started this job. I get up every day, and I used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to work out, get my daughter up, and I make her come with me. And now I just don't have it no more. I get up at like 9, 10 o'clock, right when it's time for me to like start making calls and going to do showings. But I'm trying to get myself out of it. So yeah,
Yeah.
y'all
Well, you're doing good.
give me grace.
Yes.
I would say to that point, if community, community accountability, because I haven't lost a child, but I've had a lot of loss. And for me, it took, and maybe the person or whoever the person was, it was close, and you got to weed them out sometimes. It's a lot of people that may not go into those different seasons with you.
Yeah.
There are some that are there for you, and it's just through perseverance and quick prayer. But having that person, because don't stop working out. That helps. Like a
Yeah.
lot of, it's just the weight, right? The weight of everything that you're carrying. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna do this, but I'm gonna do that. But it's a balance, is what I've learned through my journey, balancing it. And I've fell off, but I got back up. We fall down, but we get up.
Hmm.
We fall down, but we get back
We
up
get up
swinging.
every time. And in affirmations, I'm a winner. I am
Yeah.
enough. I have enough. I just begin to speak life into my, because it's gonna take that.
Yeah.
People,
Yeah.
it's gonna take that. But I say get a community for that, because you doing well.
Yeah. You are doing well. And you've been speaking, right, Brittany? Like at different um no?
I haven't spoke.
She's
No,
manifesting.
I haven't spoke yet, but
She's
Oh,
speaking
okay.
I
today.
do.
You
I,
speaking today?
Yeah,
no,
you're
I speak
speaking
on my
today.
Instagram and stuff like that, and
Well, that's
my
speaking. You're
Facebook.
doing,
Yeah.
see, you're doing it though.
That's
It
still
took
wins,
me a
no matter
long
how
time.
small. Count
Yep.
them. Like, don't discredit.
Yeah.
You speaking right. You speaking to me. Like I'm
Right.
over here. My heart all fluttered and stuff. Like, but you're speaking right now, and you
Yeah.
spoke before. So yeah, manifest. Go ahead and push Arena. She's speaking.
Yeah. Yeah. So, man, it's just so like Ty just said, I get to live and see that how you're persevering through this really huge obstacle and ordeal in your life. And man, my heart goes out to you because, like I said, it took me a long time to be able to speak. But listen, I'm here now. Okay. I'm here
Hmm.
speaking. It's been a long time coming. I just feel like, I don't know if you've been seeing my story on a lot of social media channels, but it's just been a way that I've been self reflecting, and it's kind of been a lot of therapeutic for me. Like, it's been really good, and I've been having people to try to get in my way and deter the process. But listen, I keep going because my focus was the storytelling. So I must stick to it, and that's where I'm at. Um, a powerful but harmful way people avoid self reflection is by weaponizing mental health
Hmm.
and mental health terminology. If they can't genuinely criticize your actions, they'll simply attempt to invalidate your reality by labeling you crazy or dramatic, like a drama queen. This tactic shifts the focus and keeps them from having to address their own feelings, insecurities, and behaviors. Let's talk about the crazy label. Have you, any one of you, ever felt that fear of being judged as crazy or damaged by your peers, too damaged? And have you ever felt the fear of being judged as crazy and it just has you don't want to speak to anybody because you're afraid of what they may think about what you may say next?
Well, just for me, um, you know, by being where I am right now, it feels like, everybody has moved on. I'm not, if anybody hears me, I'm not saying that they have or have not, but, it's been things like I use my social media to help me out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I do food content. I do pictures of my daughter. I find like cute pictures that she's taken that I didn't even know she took. I read her information on Instagram, the little stuff. I just smile. And so then I'll be doing something and I'm like, I use this for my situation. What's your situation? So my child didn't just die a few months ago. It's like I'm not supposed it's like I'm not supposed to grieve. Like, and it's like I guess that's why I'm the way I am, because I haven't been given the chance to be like vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm around other people, they're like, oh, they're hugging me, they're squeezing me tight. They're like, girl, I can't believe this. And it's like, I have to understand that you may not get this from this particular area. You may have to get it from this area. So that's what I've started to realize. And I don't fault them because that's just how you were raised, but it's hurtful. And you know how
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, you know what it is. So that's what it is, family. So, you just have to keep pushing. But I feel like sometimes you don't want to say nothing. You sit in the corner, like it's quiet. It used to be so loud with my daughter, whatever she was doing. It's quiet now, like extra quiet. And I'm not at my house right now, but it's just so quiet. I'm all alone now. Like I'm talking to y'all,
Yeah.
I'm not alone, but I feel alone.
Yeah.
And so I just do things like I said, go on Instagram and I have fun and just look at pictures of her and I do videos, do some house videos, and that's my therapy. And then I talk to my therapist, but that's my therapy. And but you, like you said, you feel weird because the people looking at you like you haven't changed. I've changed. I'm not the same Brittany I was a few months ago. I'm a totally different person. I look at life in a different lens. It's a totally different lens.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, when it comes to speaking about labels and crazy and voice, like I don't, there was a season in my life to where it mattered to me what people thought, in terms of things that I was going through. Maybe I didn't want them to know, or I did. But I would say in the space of being vulnerable, I wasn't able to be vulnerable with a lot of people. And what I wasn't going to do was, as I grew into healing, was not speak, not take up space for my voice. How I did it may be different than what other people did, but if they were to call me crazy or project, their things and onto me as far as what I'm and when I'm telling my truth, that's not my people. Those are they're not for
Mhm.
me in this season. And not only are they not for me, they're not educated in what it means to actually deal with trauma, deal with hurt, deal with loss. They haven't got there yet. But if we live long enough, we all are going to go through it. Maybe not in the same way, but I'm not going to live forever. Not here in this. Maybe there's an eternal life. So I think processing things, what we've experienced, not only just processing that for the reality that no one lives forever, right? Like that should give us sympathy and empathy to a person
Mhm.
that maybe lost unexpectedly, but we never know. We never know the day nor the hour what it's going to be, and we don't know what people are thinking in their heads. We don't know what they're going through. So my thought is, when it comes to speaking up in titles or taglines, people labeling me crazy or whatever the labels is, I tune them out. That energy, I cut it. For me, it's like I don't explain myself. I'm not, you
Yeah.
know, I don't need to, because I've done the hardest part was spoke up about whatever it was. I said it.
Right.
I'm not gonna explain. I don't owe an explanation, right?
Yeah.
Silence is direction too. For me,
Mhm.
my silence would be my direction.
Yeah. Silence actually equates to peace. Um, I never thought I would come to a point in my life where I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna get off this burden and speak about these things, that these traumatic events that happened to me. But then in doing so, it's like you kind of live through a lens that's corrupted,
Mhm.
um, because you do see the world differently. And
Mhm.
the crazy label, I feel like people throw that around on others when the other people are actually right about them. So I had said this a while back. I said, sometimes a lot of people can have an opinion about one person, and if their opinion is always the same, they may have a point to some regard. But if one person has a problem with a lot of different people and their opinion is different, 9 times out of 10, they're right. And so the way that other people combat that is they throw that label around, oh, she's crazy or he's crazy, or because they're trying to tune out whatever happened to them. They don't want to address it. It's not the right time. And to deflect and to just call other people crazy seems like the easier, quicker, more appropriate tool that's useful to others. And to Taja's point, peace looks like cutting all the people off that want to label you and put you inside of a box. Like they
Mhm.
got to go. That's not your people, because your people will always know your heart. And I used to live so like free, but it used to be apologetically like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry for this. I'm sorry for having to share this. I'm sorry for saying this. Not anymore, because every time you hand out a I'm sorry for your lived experiences, your lived trauma, you sell yourself short.
You're
Don't
shrinking.
be sorry. You're shrinking yourself.
Mhm.
So live your life unapologetically is what I've learned to do. And I let everyone love me from the ground up going forward. You're going to know me. And if you like me, you'll be around. You'll know my heart. And listen, if I'm still here rocking with you next year around this time, I know that, you was truly you truly love me, right? Because it's not easy, and people have to learn to love people past their pain. Nobody should have to bottle up themselves or make them condense themselves, reduce themselves. They got to code switch every time they go to work. They got to be, it's one thing to be professional. I could be a professional all around the board, but I don't know if y'all know the mayor of New Orleans, but I like the way she is. Her personality is kind of like, she's unapologetically free. Yeah, she's professional, but if somebody mess with her, she gonna let them know. She gonna put them back into their place, and then she gonna go back to being professional. Um, and listen, I'm not endorsing her or anything like that here. I'm just saying that her personality is very strong, and once you learn to live unapologetically free, it's like a new avenue of doors and people find you, and that's the people that you want in your circles, in your atmosphere, soaking up your space and time with. If somebody is bothered by you sharing your story, your lived experience, then they're just not the right people for you. Um Nobody should be bothered. Like, they have to ask themselves, like, how come is this person's story bothering me so much? Why is that?
Mm, right,
Yeah. So
right.
I
I
know that I've spoken. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't
No,
mean to
I
cut you.
agree. Like, I was just thinking about the points that you made, and the thing is, unapologetically, we should not have to apologize for our truth.
Right.
It's the truth. Your truth is your, and it may not be pretty. It may
Mhm.
be pretty. It may be ugly, but it's your truth. And
You
if you
didn't get to edit which part you went through.
you don't get to edit that. You just got to go through it. And I think sometimes within certain seasons, people are used to that hurt version of you, that apologetic version of you. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. That suppressed, that part that shrunk. But when you get your strength and when you get that voice and you begin to speak to it, it's like, wait a minute, because there's other because what it is, healed people attract other healed people. Hurt people hurt people. Come on
Yeah.
now. Like
Come on now.
that's right. That's what it is. That's it. So if you're in a space to where you was in a season of hurt and actions, things you were doing, and you had that group around you, they doing the same thing. They in that same cycle. But as we grow, okay, I went through this. Why I speak to Bree. It's like I don't know. You may not feel like you've grown. You may feel like I don't know. I'm how I'm doing it by God, the grace of God. But you're
Yeah.
doing it. Like oh my God, she's doing it. But you're growing from,
Yeah.
and it goes from glory to glory to glory. And the key is to separate from those people that don't want you to live unapologetically because you're going to shrink. You
Yeah.
separate for growth so that you, as you get up, you can help somebody else come up. But if you stay in that was that crab in a barrel, that
Yeah.
mindset of they don't want to grow, they don't want to face the pain because the truth is, in order to get through something, you have to go through it. You can't run from it.
Nope.
You can't shrink. You can't go back. You gotta go through that thing.
Yeah.
And that is the fear that people have is like, oh, I gotta relive this trauma. Yeah, you because you didn't deal with it when you was a child. You didn't deal with it when you was a teenager. You didn't deal with it in that first marriage. You didn't deal with it in that second marriage. Now, eventually, it's gonna keep circling back until you
Yeah.
deal with it. What Bree is
Mhm.
having to deal with, death of a child, people pray, the elders that I know, they pray that they go before their kids. I don't know what it's gonna be, but I know
Yeah.
one day me and my daughters, we gonna have to deal with it. So
Yeah.
what I so
Mhm.
and what you telling me, Bree, is I'm gonna have to talk about it and I'm gonna have to cry about it.
Yep.
Period. Everybody might not get me, some people may, but the ones that carry the anointing, the ones that will most likely get it are the ones that went through it, not the ones that got stuck and they shrunk and they turned to other things to cope, right? Not those because they never went through it.
Yeah.
So,
Gotta
yeah,
get through it to get to it. Oof.
kids,
You better say
come
that.
on now, like, come on.
And I
That's
don't
true.
have any vices either, so I don't do anything. So, I'm just this is all cold turkey. I
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't
that's
drink, I don't smoke, I don't do nothing. I don't
Gotta
gamble.
go through it to
I don't
get
got
to it.
nothing I do. So I
not
just
why you moving so fast like that. Not fast, but you like doing what you're able to do.
Right.
Mm.
yeah, because I've always been like that. It's too expensive to do that stuff anyway. Shoot, I probably ran through thousands of bottles. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I just like to keep myself healthy. But yeah, you're right. You're right, because that's the only
Yeah.
way I know to be. You can't keep listening to people and they say, "Oh, I thought I would have saw some evidence of change by now."
Yeah.
How? It's what changed? I have changed, but it's not. Is it? I thought the therapy was going to help you. No, that's not what therapy does. Therapy helps you to keep yourself grounded. It helps you to find, yourself like jobs, and then once you get yourself out that rut, then you start to work.
Yeah.
And so, you got to get past getting a job first. Getting some money, and then you can get your mind can start being focused. Because my mind hasn't been focused because I ain't had no money.
Yeah.
Well, the money that I
Hey.
want.
Yeah.
But I never say I've been saying that for years. I've never say I'm broke. Just a little challenge in the money direction. I've always said that.
Yeah. Well, you got a purpose, and it's real huge. God is giving you an anointing on your life. So I'm sure that, you keep doing God's work, going through it, one day at a time. I told my daughter something, I think it was yesterday, or maybe it was this morning. I went and dropped her off to school, the oldest one. I said, because I was telling her about someone that we found out was terminally ill. And I said, you know what, Jayla? I'm finally at a point where everything that is living will die. It has to die. And you don't know when your time is. And we don't know when our time is. Like I could be talking right now, be gone tomorrow.
Hmm.
That's how quick life takes a different direction. And so, and I talk like this in front of my husband just to like, just to put it out there. We take for granted the air that we breathe, the fresh water, the fresh food that we have access to, in the small, simple things until it's no
Hmm.
longer. Money can buy a lot of things. I mean, you can do a lot of traveling with that money. You can run it up. You can go to the casino. You can go betting in Vegas. You can do a lot of things with money. But one thing that money cannot buy is health. It cannot guarantee extra life. You can't
Hmm.
buy extra time. And so I never worry about the money part. I always put that back into God's hands. And I ask for and pray for, if I am sick, if my kids are sick, God, please help us to be able to manage what we have.
Hmm.
Um, because money is tangible, right? But health,
Exactly.
it's what you, so like what you say, I don't try to do anything else to cope through the pain. I don't want to buy alcohol to cope through the pain. I'm actually going through it. Okay, that's really huge of you. Because a lot of people would have said, okay, well, let me just try this to get through it. But you know what's going to happen, right? People who take that route, 10 years from now, they're going to probably have to enter rehab. And guess what? One day, they're going to still have to come back to today and deal with it. So take your time in your healing process. Um, I know for me, seeking counseling, it just wasn't something that I wanted to do. Um, and the reason why I chose to do it was because I was managing too many hats and I just felt
Hmm.
like I was getting anxiety, like overwhelmed, like really worked up, and I wasn't able to multitask like I once was um, back in the day. So I feel like when I was in my 20s and even when I was in my early 30s, I can do 15 tasks and complete them all and cram, um do it last minute and still be able to get it done. And then now that I'm 40, I just feel like all of that took a a slight pause, and now I got to write stuff down and I got to put it on the calendar and I got to like accept the email invites or they won't be marked on my calendar. And so that's kind of what directed my path to seek professional help. It wasn't so much of me like telling my family story or telling my story. Some family members are implemented. If you did bad things, you there. I'm so sorry. And if you did good things, you there too. But I mean, this is my story.
Hmm.
So, in saying that, my seeking professional help was me trying to take on many different hats and still be that same person to take on all those hats without feeling the heavy weight of my on my chest, being stressed out and having all of that anxiety. Um, if you have sought medical help or professional advice, what was the breaking point for you, Taja?
So I've been to recently actually I did counseling and it wasn't even that or therapy. It wasn't more so a, I don't want to call it a breaking point, but it was, I was telling my story, sharing my stories with a friend, and it was like, you should do that, you should do counseling, you should do counseling. I read a lot, and I felt like that was my space. And so when she said that, I didn't want to be the person that was against it and never tried it. So I did it because I wanted to see what that looked like and what it felt like. What could they say to me? And to Bree's point, I just feel like there was things that I needed to deal with and go through that they didn't help me with, and I had to get the clarity that they were there to give me tools and to give me resources to cope myself. So I didn't do it long. I did it maybe 3 months, and then I just felt that I've done it this far on my own, that I can pick up with the tools that they had given me, which some of them I knew because I read, and I found communities. I found groups like what I was saying earlier to Bree, to your point, finding someone to help you be accountable. Those people that really see you, that really hear you, and
Mhm.
it could be a therapist, or it could be it could be a pastor. Just they just need to hear, like Rena said, your story, what you have to say, what you have to share, and accept it unapologetically as your truth. So that's where, for me, I did it, and it wasn't long term for me. It wasn't something that I saw myself continuing to do. So um, I took what I got from that, and then I just started implementing that within my day to day.
Right. Yeah, no, hey, listen, I'm glad that you was able to get some help. I know for me, I had started once and then I quit. Like you only did the 3 months. Because sometimes you be like, okay, I don't know if this is for me or not. But in fighting through going back to the appointments, I'm like, you know what? I got some stuff I want to say back from A, B, and C that happened to me. And, I just never told nobody this. And I need to get it
Mhm.
all out and I need to find my way. And I'm like, do you have time today? Do you need to could you listen to me talking to my counselor? And she could relate to me because she's an African American woman, and so it's even better, right? Because now I have somebody that's professional, and also somebody that's in my age bracket, and somebody who's been through a lot them own selves, and guiding me along the way. And so I'm like, I want to share my story, and she was like, I think you should. How do you feel about it? How does that make you feel? And I'm like, you know what? It makes me feel good to get it all out. And, it wasn't an overnight process. This is something that has been on my heart and my chest for a very long time, more than
Mhm.
decades. And so it was about time. It doesn't, sometimes it takes a long time to articulate or verbalize the things that we want to get out, right? It's not an overnight process. And so, for you, Bree, what was the turning point in you like, okay, I really need to talk to somebody about this or just seek out the professional help?
So basically, I've had therapists a few times. I had one back when I think it was in my early 20s. Um, and it's like I've had the weirdest experiences. And I only sought that therapy because I was working for DJJ. And, I do quirky things. I don't know. I just do stuff that always, I guess, causes some type of rift. You know how you probably couldn't recognize that 'cause you talked about something earlier that kind of you might get what I'm saying in a second. So I took my earrings out at work because I always was like trying to look cute. I work for the DJJ, so you really don't wear that type of stuff there. But I work with the kids, so I had these earrings on. It was like long. I said, "Oh, let me take my earrings out." And one of the girls that was working with me, I don't know, she's like a hater, as you can say that now. She tells the captain that I had said something or whatever. And unfortunately, I was like sent home and she was saying I was trying to fight the captain. So the reason why I ended up doing counseling, I was trying to save my job. And so I did the counseling and we were talking or whatever. And the counselor says, "Oh, you have like some sense of entitlement and things like that." She was telling me. And so she wanted, well, I'm telling you why it was quirky. She wanted me to invite my parents, and it was the worst experience I've ever had. Like, you're in a room and you thought you had a safe space, and then you're sitting there next to your parents who are talking about you. And
What's
so it was just,
DJJ?
oh, Department of Juvenile Justice.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I used to work there. You have to wear the little khaki pants and the black shirt or whatever. And I thought I was cute, have my little earrings on. But yeah, the captain was a hater. Anyway, she was from New York. I'm not saying anything bad about anybody from New York, but she was a hater. But yeah, so I'm in the room and I was, has expressed to her how I wanted to have. I've been struggling this for years, obviously. I want to try to get closer with my family and try to understand everything. And so they were there with me at the thing. It didn't turn out well. And so after that, I kind of didn't really have any type of desire. And so then I end up getting another counselor again when my daughter started to have issues like with her mental health around like 8 or 9 because she had sticky fingers. Like she was very intelligent. She used to take my debit card and do stuff with it. And I'm how did you do that? And so, she got a counselor. I got a counselor the same place. So I talked to the counselor and, she's like, you have too much going on and you're not able to focus on yourself. You got your daughter's information, you got your family, we got to focus. And so again, I decided I didn't want to have a counselor again. And so the only reason I'm in counseling now is because I did finally get another counselor after my daughter passed. But the breaking point, I guess, was me just trying to see, like, Todd said, is it really going to work this time? And so it's basically the same thing. It's them giving me tools to move on with my life, my daily life. It's not, oh, your child died. You got to do, this is they're not doing that. They're trying to make me focus on what's next. What's the next step? And that's what she literally says. Like, my steps now is to making sure I have another jobs lined up, that I figure out community. She did say what you said, and I have community, just figuring a way to get to the things I want to do, like exercising and making sure I keep those groups going to keep myself focused. Because she said, you can't let the gym go. So like you said, she's been a lot better than the previous therapist, but at first she was basically just trying to get me focused on having a job, having resources. So, that was my breaking point, I guess, in a long-winded way, was after all those times, after my daughter passed away. And just to stick a pin in it real quick, my daughter's therapist was telling me that you're going to lose this child if you don't get therapy. You're going to lose her. And when I hear that in my head, I'm like, wow, because I was trying to get therapy before she passed, but I never could get therapy because every time you call the number, the person doesn't do therapy they don't do the therapy over the phone now. They don't have an office number. It's just wild. So only reason I got this therapist is because I got it from a family member had recommended it. But yeah, that's the breaking point, was her dying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad that you did recognize the need to get help, whether it was told to you to go get it or you just sought it on your own. I think it's so shunned upon in our community that people automatically put this crazy barrier on it. But a lot of times we see adults throwing tantrums like they're children, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't even know why they're throwing a tantrum. And a counselor could help them navigate that experience and how to become more emotionally in depth and emotionally intelligent.
Intelligent. Yep.
Yeah, and just get those emotions in check. Listen, we're adults, so a lot of times we gonna hear some things that we just don't like, we just don't agree with. But it's not how you act, it's how you react.
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn to control yourself and your emotions, and knowing when to react and when it's appropriate to react. And we have a lot, I see every day, daily, we all do, how adults, especially the ones that just go catch those flights, it's
Mm-hmm.
always a problem on a flight, on the airline, and you're like, oh my gosh, just over a seat. Goodness gracious, like what would make adults behave like this? You have kids that are kind to other kids and they say, you want to sit here? Okay, long as you can be my friend. But then you
Yeah.
have adults that throw a temper tantrum for wanting their window up or wanting it down, or the other person reclining their chair and being inconsiderate of the person that's sitting behind them. I mean, it's just so much drama these days with adults not knowing when to check it, when to check themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And counseling can
Exactly.
help navigate those avenues. But I just feel like sometimes we put it off as, oh, that person had to go through something detrimentally for them, to go do it or seek it, or and that's not necessarily the case. Sometimes we seek it for different reasons. A lot of times you work for a company, your company pays for it. If you're
Yep,
on
the
your job,
EAP.
the EAP, they'll give you 20 or 40 sessions depending on who you work for free. And you never know the benefits that it will give you in the long run in planning, resource planning for your future. And so I know the phrase, we take our burdens to the Lord, is quite common in our community. That's another thing. A lot of people say, I don't need no counselor to tell me nothing because I talk to the Lord. Okay. And how do you reconcile your faith, your spirituality with the decision to seek professional clinical help? And this is for like anybody out there watching. So if they wanted to, if you felt like they needed counseling, right? Maybe they don't see it. And you say, hey, I think that this person would be able to help you. Okay. But they say, no, I give all my problems to God. But you suffering. You may need somebody to talk to. You suffering right now. How do you reconcile the faith and the spirituality with the decision to guide them towards seeking professional or clinical help, especially since it's so shunned upon in our community?
I think that the church uses, not necessarily uses, but I think that the church is like a hospital for people that are sick. And I think
Yeah.
that people use the church for that. Some people use the church
Oh,
to
I
be
like that.
therapy, right? To help them to do, but you're only getting that once or twice a week, depending on your commitment. And there are some units that where you go to church and they have small groups and they have certain sectors that where they speak to that community like we talked about, Bree. But when it comes to me and someone that I see that maybe in the body of Christ that is looking or they need help further than what they're getting at church, it's just signs that I may see. And that's just me. In order to I think it's like that's a loaded question, because in order to see that a person needs help, you have to be aware of what that looks like. Some people think certain behaviors are normal. It's acceptable. Oh, that's just how they are. That's just what that is. So you have to have a certain level of awareness to even consider that this person may need some help. But in addition to that, when it comes to convincing someone, I don't try to convince them. I just paint a picture, and if for me, like, it would be my experience. One reason that I did do what I did in terms of allowing myself to go to therapy was to experience it so I can speak to that. Like, this is what it was for me, and this is what I feel like helped me the most. So I don't really try to convince them. I just try to paint a picture.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I like the way you said that, church for some people is like going to the emergency room, because after your emergency room visit, oof, you
Yeah.
need that follow up.
Yes.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yes.
And yeah, a lot of people don't go to follow up, right?
Mm-mm.
And they're just walking around.
They think they can do it on their own. Oh, I got this. I've done this. And sometimes they can, but sometimes you need a little support. And God created
Yeah.
those people too. He created the therapist and like, so get you one that's faith based. So it's just
Hmm.
strategy. I think it's strategy and awareness.
Yeah. There is faith-based counselors and mentors and providers. Like Taja just said, you can get one that's faith-based. You don't, those people were created by God. So if you are a believer, then believe that He put them here to help you in your time of need.
That's what my therapist, she said, I think it might be good for you to get a grief counselor too. at the church. So she
Mhm.
did advise that too, because obviously that's not her realm. As you know, all therapists, they're not aware in every area. They have to, outsource, which is the best part.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like I've been talking to a lot of people and being in different rooms, which is very good. And not gonna say a particular nationality or racial structure, but they said something that I really liked. If you have a good therapist, if you have, a realtor, if you have a banker, if you have anybody, it should be the same thing as if you have a good therapist. You should be able to give the card to your friend. And like you said, that makes a lot of sense. If somebody has a good therapist, you should be open to say, hey, girl, I see you've been upset a little bit. Are you seeing someone? But if you say that to people, they're going to have that label, like you said, like, oh, you think something's wrong with me? No, I just feel like you might want to talk with someone, in a
Yeah.
nice way. Because my friends were asking me that too, because of all that I was going through prior to my daughter passing, when she was upset, her schoolwork, and she just having a lot of things going. I was like, I'm good. I'm good. I kept saying I was good, but I don't think I was really good. I think
Yeah.
I was just trying to,
Get through the
do it all on
moment.
my own. And like you said, I was praying. My friend said, pray to God, and you got to fast and all this, because maybe you're going to fast your way through. You're not fasting right, this, that, and the other. And, I also felt like I needed to have a therapist too, because it wasn't working, but she had a therapist and I was using her therapist, girls. Her therapist came over. I was talking to her therapist. So she didn't talk to the therapist. I was talking to the therapist. I thought I had a therapist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would call the girl all the time. So it's different than the therapist I have now. She's different. I don't call her like I was calling the one that my daughter had, but I kind of felt like some of her methods were unorthodox. But that's just the way she was trying to reach my daughter. But you know, we're here now. But yeah, people have a different way of receiving that information, and especially at the church. They
Yeah.
feel like, I have a lot of prayer warriors. They tell me to call them all the time. And when I get on the phone with them, I'm like, man, I know she gonna pray. Oh, I feel it. Let's pray about it. And I feel it. And when I get off the phone, I love you. And it's like, you love me? Wow. I don't hear that very often. And it
Yeah.
makes my heart warm.
Yeah.
So I be like, you love me? Wow. And
Yeah.
so I haven't talked to her in a few weeks, but she's like, they send me messages, send me scriptures. Like, I mean, it's love.
Yeah. The way that I grew up, see that love part when people tell me that they love me and how you just had that reaction, you love me? That's how I was for a long time. People be like, "You pretty," and I'd be like, "You think so?" And I'm like, "Well, what do you see? Where is it at?" Because all my life I had to fight, but nobody nobody knew it. Cause I'm over here like fighting for my life, and like nobody know the trauma that sits behind what they think is a pretty face. Like your girl could scrap now,
Hmm.
not because I wanted to, but because I had to learn how. And so you're right. When people say like they love you and it's kind of like out the blue, you be like, do you really? Where is it? Like, are you sure? Is it for me? And the reason why I say that is because I caught myself doing that a lot. People say, you're beautiful, and I question them, and they give me a compliment, and they say you're doing well, and I'm like, stop playing with me. Like I always want to have a rebuttal to say, and a
Hmm.
rebuttal is always negative, right? But in counseling, I've learned to stop saying stuff like that. Just accept it for what people tell me it is. Now, the way that I was like that, the reason is because for a long time, people would tell me I'm pretty and they would hurt me. They would say, I love you, but then they steal from me. They try to kill me, but they said, I love you.
Hmm.
So it's hard to believe when you get a compliment and somebody say, "Oh, you pretty." Okay, and but at the same time they try to set you up. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I'm pretty, but you set me up. And the same people that's telling you that, it's the same people that's pickpocketing you in your face. And so it's hard to receive a message growing up. for a long time in that kind of atmosphere. And so I
Mhm.
think a lot of people have trauma and they don't know how to deal with it. And the first thing a lot of people do is they second guess. Like you can hear it. Oh, you look so beautiful. I like you. I like this. I like the red dress you wore today. Oh, really? You don't think I look like the Kool-Aid person? Like they second
Mhm.
guess it because of how their experiences have shaped them to be. And you know what? I can say I accept all the compliments. Now I be like, thank you. And I just leave it like that. No matter what I used to think, I'm here now.
Mhm.
So I no longer try to negate the fact of a compliment because it is weird, right? You give off a compliment to somebody, it's a socially awkward moment to compliment someone, and then that same person come back and like denounce your compliment to them. It's like eye catching. And so for me, that's one way I look at people who may need therapy. They don't know it because it's like a split second conversation, right? But then you look back and you double think about it, like, dang, I just gave her a compliment. She couldn't even take it well because something, don't know what the something is. But it happens. And so to be unapologetic and to live unapologetically free, um, is it a lack of regret, a commitment to self, or something else that would cause a person to live unapologetically free? Like, does that person who lives unapologetically free, do they lack regret? They lack remorse? How y'all feel about unapologetically free?
I mean, it just depends on what side you're looking at. If it's someone that has victimized, or if it's someone that's a victim. If it's someone that has victimized, yes, I think that that person particularly does lack that accountability, the remorse, what it takes. They don't see themselves. They don't have a strong foundation of what it means to be loved, to be patient, to be kind. Those things. That's the victimer. That's the victimizer. But the victim, if they're in that space and that's how they're feeling, then it's a lack of self-worth. They don't feel valued. They feel inferior. They are still in a space to where they haven't dealt with their trauma. They haven't dealt with the pain to the point to where they can actually see that they're worthy, that they are enough. So to that, there's two sides to every coin. There's two
Right.
sides to every coin, and you experience things, but sometimes you feel like you experience them alone because you don't have anyone to relate, and sometimes you experience them with a group, and each person, depending on how they conceptualize or they perceive the situation or the help that they get, the therapy, the community that they have, they will either not feel the remorse or the accountability as the victimizer, and as a victim they may not feel the value within themselves. That's where growth comes. I mean, not to throw it back to Bree and the point, of your story. I see growth, I see strength, and regardless of whatever therapy you need, counseling you're taking, is it shows in a way that where you can actually take ownership of what you did do right or what you didn't do right, and live in that truth. It's all about being honest with yourself. And any person, to me, that tries to victimize another person that has been a victim is a weak person. And
Yeah.
I but that's how I see it. You weak. That I can identify that as not someone with strength, not someone of character or integrity, because I've educated myself to see what that looks like, and that's not what that looks like. So
Mhm.
being someone that's healed, I will not go back and forth with you. I will not allow you to speak negative to me. I want to entertain the rooms that I'm in and the spaces that I'm in. No, silence is direction, right? It
Yeah.
Mhm.
is, and not that I may be silent about everything, because I might have to vocalize what I need to say, but I'm gonna do it in a way that I don't tear down the person. I speak my truth and I move on, and I let them deal with that. That's a reflection of them, not me. That's how you deal with that, because I speak my truth. That's a reflection of you. Yeah, go heal.
Right. Go heal.
Go heal.
Go
Because
heal.
I'm working on me. Go work on you. Go get some healing. You need it. And they may not listen, but most people that are acting that way, they're not gonna hear you. Because but they know the truth. When they're
Yeah.
alone, like you said, Bree, you go to your counseling, you do your thing, and when you get out your session, you cry. That's your truth. You're releasing. That's actually what you should be doing. But people that are out there bullying and interrogating someone in spaces and rooms where they know that they might have played a part, or either they know that they could be more support and they're not, they're unhealed, honey. They toxic. Ooh, and I can see it now. See it so much good now. Like you spoke, Rena, about taking compliments. I get compliments, all the time. They come, they go, they don't come. But I took them. But when you don't see your own value and you don't see your own worth, it's null and void. Beauty
Hmm.
comes from within.
Yeah.
Scripture says, "I beautify the meek with salvation." Being able to be pure at heart, it beautifies you to be healed. Like that's the real goal. Like that's the real flex, right? Is
Yeah.
that part. And people think that you could be the most beautifulest person, and everybody tell you, and you take those compliments, but you ugly on the inside. Oh, you right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
Your
sad.
heart is ugly.
You not no. Your heart. Man looks at the outer, right? God looks at your heart posture.
Yep.
What is it saying about you? The way you treating people, the way you doing your sister or your brother, in that space. It's not a good look. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's true. It's not a good look at all. A lot of times people want to compliment the outside, but it's all on what is on the inside. Looks are superficial. And to heal, you have to accept.
Right.
That's the first step. You can't accept but with if. You just have to accept it for what it is, right?
Yeah.
And so I come back to you, Bree. And how does unapologetically free look to you when you're healing?
So basically, with me, um, it's just walking. Just I'm gonna say walking in your purpose. Like for a long time, like you said, you're right. Strength. I go to church and people will tell you, well, you're not Christian. You're not blessed. You need to go back to church and get this healing, this, that, and the other. But it's not about that. It's about the community. It's about, you know, having strength to stand in that. If someone doesn't believe that you're a Christian, that's fine. I go to church because it's a community and they help you with a lot of stuff at church. It's not just, they have choir, they have the grief ministry, they have the singles ministry. They have a lot of things you can do where you can get community. And then, I actually joined some of the social media teams, a lot of stuff. So it's not about just, oh, it's the Bible, it's the Christian. It's not about that. It's about having community. And so to me, I feel like being unapologetically, healed, this and the other, is knowing that you can stand in your purpose. And if anyone has anything to say, like you said, don't worry about it. They are toxic and you just have to keep on moving, because if you keep worrying about what people say, then you're never going to heal. You're never going to be out of that space. You're never going to, I'm not going to say move on with your life. You're never going to be able to be happy because you're always going to be thinking about what they're saying. So that's what it to me is. You walk in your purpose, you walk in proud, and whatever people are saying, you're like, okay, that's me, you're right. And then just keep on moving, because, you know, I'm not going to say it's not true. I lost my family on the 22nd
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
and I'm trying to find it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. So I don't want to keep y'all too long, but I do have two more questions here. My
Mhm.
first one is, if you could create a mandatory mental health one-on-one curriculum for the community, what are the top simple, actionable things that you would teach people to better support a loved one who is struggling?
Mm.
Educate yourself. Become aware. get to the point to where you can walk in somebody else's shoes. I think that would be the key. The key is we would never know what it feels like, to do and go through certain things. Like right now at this point, I don't know what it's like to be in your shoes, Bree. But what I do know is I can only imagine. So with my curriculum, it would be imagine. Close your eyes. It would be simple. Close your eyes. Was this your only child, Bree?
That's my only child.
Close your eyes and imagine
Somebody gave me this.
that God has gifted you one child, an only child, and
It's cute, isn't it?
be oh yeah, she's beautiful. And that she's not here. He or she is gone at the young age of 16. Not even they will not live to see their 17th birthday. Imagine, and like that would be it. Because I think people don't know what it feels like to walk in someone else's shoes. And that's what I would do, because people just need to imagine. We say it loosely, I can only imagine. But really, tap, tap, tap in, tap, tap in. Close your eyes and imagine. Tap, tap in. And at that point, when you tap in right there and to close your eye, and it's like, ooh, you feel it. And then I will put the person in front of them. Bree, I put you right in front of their face. Like I put you a picture just like you did me with your daughter just then. I put you and I'm like, this happened too. And I would make it touch that person in that way to where they put a name to it, they put that experience to it. And then that's how I would start, like to be woke. People just need to be aware, you know?
I like that. Imagine. I love it, actually.
Mm-hmm.
The curriculum is imagine.
Yes.
I love that because that is heartfelt. And a lot of times people don't know what it's like and they pretend or they just say casually,
They
right? We're not
used to
going to
say
say
it. Oh,
pretend.
I can only imagine.
I can only imagine. No, you can't.
Go
Are you
there,
really
make them go
imagining?
there with you. Make them
Yeah,
go there with you. Show them the pictures, show them the cassette, show them the like, and you feel it. It comes
right.
through an experience. But that's just where I would start.
Imagine. I love that. What would your curriculum 101 be for mental health, Bree?
So, I'm thinking about it. It don't matter if they take it or not. So, my first check or two, I'm getting ready to try to get a foundation started. So it's basically called Keys for Kennedy. So basically, the curriculum is, as a parent, we have trauma, and so you got to think about or ask somebody else. We have a group of different females or men too, because men raising kids too. So basically, you got to think about if there's somebody said to you, and you're saying it to the other person, and that's because you having mental problems. You having your mental issues, and you're saying it to your kid. Won't you have like an exercise where we say something, and then you think about, wait a minute, I should have never said that to my kid, because the reason why you don't know it's a problem is because you inherently been in it all your life. And so when she passed away, I started to think about stuff. And when somebody said something to me and they were cursing at me and saying stuff, I was like, oh my God, that hurt. And that put me in a bad mental space. And we're probably doing that to our kids right now. And so sometimes what I do in the middle of the night, I'll go on and I start talking. I said, you know, if you all are feeling a certain type of way, I lost my kid or whatever, I'll put in the notes. I said, think about the things that we're saying to our children. You know what I'm saying? We're putting them in a bad mental way because we're upset about something, like we're having a mental breakdown. Won't we take a step back, you know, develop these, they're called keys, develop these keys for your relationship so you can continue to thrive, because what we're doing is we're upset. And unfortunately, these kids are already suffering a lot. We're getting them all riled up. So we need to continue to explore other options, other ways, because I'm telling you, a lot of these kids are out here doing a lot of different things, and I've seen it. I've went through her whole Instagram, and they're talking, they're doing all type of things. We have to step back in and be the source, source for their relationships with us, and then also with maybe their peers. So that's what I mean. It's called Keys for Kennedy. I haven't developed everything. You caught me off guard, but it's pretty much going to focus on mental health for the adults as well as the children. Like
I
the
love that.
adults first though, because we're hurting our kids. I'm just gonna tell you, because I saw something on the internet about this lady. She had an argument with the teacher about the kid's cell phone, and she was laughing and giggling, and she rolled the window up on the teacher. We're doing it to our own kids. Like that,
Yeah.
what type of interaction is that?
Yeah,
That's
that's
causing
not
a lot
right.
of mental anguish with the kid, because now she thinks, okay, it's okay for me to act this way with the teacher when the teacher told us we can't have our phones during school.
Yeah, she
So
think
we're
it's
doing it.
acceptable now. And so your foundation, I could see the blueprint for it. You're giving people the keys to success and how to have those kind of interactions and relationships. I love that. I love your curriculum. For me, my curriculum would be unapologetically free. It's okay to be you. Let people love you for who you are. Don't change yourself for anyone. Because one day, you know, you'll get to a point where it's just you and you still gonna have to deal with who you are. And so don't change yourself for anyone. And anyone who is going to love you, let them do it from the ground up. Okay, let them love you
Mhm.
from your heart. Those that will be around will always be around. It's okay to be free. It's okay to be real. We're real people, and just don't change who you are. I know a lot of times we go to work, or we scroll past somebody on social media. We don't want to say these things. We don't want to tap in. We don't want to do certain things because our work has conditioned us not to use our voices sometimes, right? And it's okay. It's okay to use your voice because at the end of the day, your work, they actually they love who you are, and that's the reason that you're there. So it's okay to use your voice. I'm not saying be ghetto. I'm not saying be an ignorant person. I'm not saying
Mhm.
be a careless person. I'm saying use your tools and your resources to be a better person and help other people become better individuals. Okay, and so my curriculum would be free, be unapologetic about it, and it's okay. Um, to end this, this was a great conversation, and my last question here is: if your healing journey is a message to the world, what is one core belief you hope people take away from it? So I'll go first. I hope people take away the ability to use their voice and speak. Um, doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes we have to study before we're able to speak. We have to look up certain things and find out information. And sometimes we're too worried about stepping on toes and hurting other people's feelings. And so, if anybody take anything away from this conversation tonight, for me, it would be it's okay to be free. At the end of the day, you're gonna have yourself. It's gonna be a point in life where you may retire from your company. You're still gonna have yourself. So be free in that space. It's okay. And so that's my message, and I hope that people can take that away.
Okay, so my message is like I think you said it earlier, don't shy away about the uncomfortable conversations with your children or any family members, because like we all know that it is a time that will all leave this earth, and live your life to the fullest. Because I mean, I'm just going to tell you this, my daughter lived her life to the fullest. She did a lot of things that other children her age didn't do. I mean, she pushed the limit. I mean, we went to Paris and London when she was 8. So she's done a lot of stuff in her life. So I mean, to take away from this conversation, I mean, she lived a full life. I would have wanted her to be here a longer, but also don't take for granted that your children will be here all the time, because I definitely knew she would be gone, but I didn't know she's going to be gone that quick. So like I always did, I did everything with her. I took her out. We went a lot of places. I put her in a lot of resources, activities. So I guess the only thing that I could say that I regretted was that I didn't heal my trauma. I let my mental get into a lot of our relationships and that we had, and maybe it could have been a better relationship. We were good, but it could have been better. So the mental health piece is very vital because it probably would have had us having a deeper conversation. She told me everything, but it'll have you have more conversation with your children, and you'll be, what's the word I'm trying to say? More together, whatever the word is. What is it? More, what's the word?
Yeah.
Together or
More
yeah, like
unity.
unity, but
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
like
But you
more
have
aligned,
a stronger
a
relationship.
stronger relationship.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
So
So you
your
have a
message
strong
to the
relationship.
world would be to make sure that if you do need any mental health services, to make sure you seek those services and don't be ashamed to do so, because
Mm-hmm.
you never know. And make sure that you love on your kids because you never know. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we live in a life, and like I said earlier, sometimes when you live, it's we're gonna die, right? We
Mm-hmm.
just don't know when the time is. And so that's a very powerful message for everyone out there that's listening. Um, I know I'm gonna go hug on my kids more because you shared that with me, and I appreciate you for that, and I appreciate you for being here. This is really big. And Taja, what is one core belief you hope that people could take away from?
I would say just to speak your truth and don't
Speak
be
your
scared. Find a
truth.
safe place. No matter how long it takes, find a space. And if it is no one around you, just reach out. Reach out to these nonprofits, these resources that are there for those that are suffering in silence. Don't suffer in silence. Silence, silence the shame. I would say that silence the shame. Mental health is real. I think that's a nonprofit that I heard about.
It is.
Yeah, silence the shame. I love that, but silence it. It's okay. Mental health should be looked at no different than physical health, than financial health or financial wealth. It's an aspect of life. We all deal with it, whether we're at a high or whether we're at a low. So silence the shame.
Yeah, that's a great message. Silence the shame. I love that. That's my first time hearing of it. And that's right. Like, protect your peace at all costs.
Hmm.
Silence that shame.
Hmm.
So, thank you for that. That conversation was a powerful journey from confronting the pressure of being the strong woman or the strong person to making a courageous choice to seek professional help, and then ultimately to stepping into an unapologetically healing or a safe space. We've learned that the fear of the crazy label is often just a deflection from others who are uncomfortable with their truth. But true strength lies in embracing your mental wellness. Um, Remember, the journey is a legacy building act for the next generation. Thank you, ladies, for being here and for sharing your stories and being vulnerable in your truths, and providing practical wisdom for breaking the stigma. Take the advice, everyone, that was shared here today. Take that first simple step towards support and continue to build in that healthy, loving community that we all deserve and long for. So, if you were inspired by this discussion, please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel at the QR Code Show. Until next time, have a great evening, everyone.
Thank
Bye
y'all.
bye. Peace out.